time.
Is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Last of Us Part 2 spoiler cast. So,
Oh,
we're just gonna
yes.
jump right into this shit.
All right. First thing that's on your mind. First thing you hate the most. Go.
I really can't find anything about the game I hate. I really can't.
Um,
I have a few. Actually, I have a few things.
That seems like a silly answer.
No, they're funny. They're funny ones, but I feel like Mason was gonna say something. Hold on.
well, I was thinking, first off, everybody's mad about the whole transgender thing, but they never dive too far into it, and you have to kind of put two and two together on that front.
Well. Again, let's start it from the start. The start of the story with the
You said, what
conflict.
do I hate? What?
Yeah, I know. Hold on, but you reminded me of something. The start of the story is where, like, looking back now, you know how you told me it might take a few days? I see what you were saying, because, like, ever since then, I've been, like, looking
Yeah.
back and rethinking it. And it really plays well to the whole, like, there's conflict right off the bat. Like, we didn't need Abby's group. You know what I mean? Like, there was already conflict between the two.
Abby's new groove.
Oh my god. And and yeah, dude,
Boom,
just
baby.
we all agreed on it, like when we talked about it in Solo. Like, I did not think they were gonna do it that early. We all knew Joel was getting fucking axed. Everyone, even if you didn't even see the fucking spoiler bullshit that got posted, the first trailer, Joel seems like a ghost. Like, that's foreshadow. They're really good at doing that kind of thing. But yeah, Joel seems like a ghost the whole time, and you never see his face when he's talking to Ellie. And what are you gonna do? I'm gonna kill them all. The original trailer.
Yeah. It's like a
And
hallucination almost.
yeah, and like that's during her like process of killing, and then like anytime you really seen Joel, I will say I love how the trailers fucking tried sneaking Joel and Jesse as the same person.
A
Yeah,
little
You know when
bit.
she gets
exactly.
grabbed by the mouth and pulled back in? Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
But
You know, go ahead.
Played as a
I
game.
was gonna just say, like, such a beautiful fucking game. So beautiful. Like, there was so many parts of the game I just stopped playing and was looking around like, god damn.
Yeah, the game
Mason and
was.
I were confused at some point. Like, what's going on?
You get lost real easy.
When we were at the house,
Oh yeah.
and we were
What the
like,
fuck
what
am I
the
doing?
fuck's going on?
What the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
What is
No,
this?
and I really love just how they did the story. Because here's the thing, I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, both comic and show, even though, the past few seasons have been, but I just love it because it's this, again, Walking Dead has a very bad, like, Batman plot armor to it. Plant. Plot armor to
Plant.
it. Plant armor.
Planet
Uh,
armor.
and where it's like your mains really don't get fucked up, and when they do get fucked up, it's like they make the biggest show about it. Really, this game was really like just to remind you, like, yeah, this might be your favorite characters, but guess what? They're in a real world situation. Like, this is our game. We're showing you that at any point, snap, it's over. Like, that's how this world is. And with the way they tell the story, because at first you don't understand why Joe got murdered. You knew it was Fireflies. Like, I feel like everybody knew once you started playing, like, that group was a group of Fireflies. You knew that. And if you didn't, well, now you do, if you're watching this without playing the game. Um, but you knew something, it had something to do with the hospital. You knew it had something to do with the hospital. But then when you start playing as Abby and you learn exactly what it's about, you're like, oh, fuck. How can you blame her? How could you blame her for that? Ellie literally did the same thing through the entire game that Abby did to Joel. It's the ultimate yin and yang game. Like, it stays yin and yang the whole time. That was what I really appreciated about it. There was a couple things in there that I could have done without. Don't get me wrong, but it's a simple story. That's
Like
really,
Abby trying to reenact Happy Gilmore on Joel's face.
dude, jackass.
Naughty Dog said in one of their interviews it was about the cycle of violence and all that fun jazz.
They did a good like telling of it. They really did, because again, look at what is Ellie's entire story. Joel is murdered, and she goes after Joel's killer. Well, Joel's murderer, Joel killed her dad, and her whole life was going after her dad's murder. You
I
see what I'm saying?
I would
It's
argue
so
at a
good.
certain point, not Joel, Ellie's view on the whole, revenge plot was less about, oh, you murdered Joel, my surrogate dad, and more, I promised Tommy that I'd
I,
finish it.
f- I feel
Like,
like
and it's even before the farmhouse there. It's kind of like halfway through,
yeah,
once.
because when Tommy shows up, yeah, I see what you're saying.
And you can see it start to wear on Ellie as you play through the game with some of the decisions that get made and like in cutscenes and things like that. Especially, yeah, I mean, we'll get to talking about the end later, but you just see the decision making start to waver a bit. Like when you first meet or when you first get your hands on Nora, right? You literally throw the bitch down into some spores and then beat her with a lead pipe, and then it kind of just tapers. And you can see where it truly devolves when she gets to Owen and
Mel.
Mel. Yeah, that dumb bitch. And if you remember, um, when Dina and Ellie first find the first two guys that Tommy got a hold of, it was the whole map thing. You tie them both up, ask one to verbally answer, ask one to point. If it matches up, they're telling the truth. That's what they went for in the cutscene, and then they added the layer on top of it of Ellie being frantic about it and not, being hasty and not making the best decision. So you could see there that, her mentality in that point was already kind of shaky.
Oh yeah, when she kills Mel, it's like it's a fucking thing, dude. It's straight up. It's the ending of ends. You know. It's Ellie giving up her humanity. She really realizes it. She's like, oh fuck, I just killed a pregnant woman, and like
Hmm.
that's why she starts freaking out and all that shit. And that's what I want to touch on that because I feel like if and I want to preference this because again I told you guys earlier roommate's theory was this is all a meme with the bad reviews and shit, but the bad reviews are all over the fucking place for some reason. If you truthfully just bad review this game, you didn't understand it. You didn't.
Hmm.
And I'm not even trying to be a pretentious like artsy prick. You genuinely did not understand the game because it is a simplified view on this gigantic, overbearing problem. Because what the scars and the wolves really introduce, other than just enemies, other than just shooting targets, what they really
Is that it's
introduce is
everybody.
that there is groups across this entire country of these people. Like, there's more than just Ellie and Joel's story. There's stories going on all over. This is still a country. There are still groups of people where they're still small, they have this shit going on, which we see with the wolves. Like, there's so much of Abby's story that we play, which is just mindless bullshit. She's eating fucking breakfast burritos half the time. But it's these stories that are showing, like, oh, you think Jackson was the safe haven, and that's it. Like, we don't want you to feel like that. And that's where I get into that Walking Dead vibe, where it
Yeah,
gives me that
like
all the
when,
time, especially more of the comic style, where the comics is a lot darker. Um,
especially when you got to that first WLF encampment where you're walking with Manny as Abby through this big ass fucking compound, and you're like, oh shit, Jackson's not fucking anything,
Yeah, and then you realize they have an entire stadium, and then like
right?
and then you get to the island, and when you get to the island and you see how the Scars live, you're like, what the fuck? Hell, the Rattlers had their own
Yeah,
fucking
right.
thing. But that's what I was getting at, and it's like you at first, and again, we all did it. Hey, shout out to Joel, homie. When you first play as Abby, if you don't kill her 100 times, you fucked up. You gotta kill that bitch. Hey, Joel's got hitters out here. You gotta remind him. But I
uh,
genuinely liked Abby as a character. I haven't. I hate to say it because when I first seen what she did to Joel, I was like, "Oh fuck this bitch! Oh, I'm killing the fuck out of this bitch." But as playing as Abby throughout the thing, I started liking it, even though
ah,
my critique is it is a quick and not as fleshed out retelling of Joel and Ellie between her and Lev. Because at first she just starts out as, "Oh, okay, this kid saved me, so I guess I owe you one." Then she has a nightmare about she didn't save the kids, so they ended up dying. So she goes back for the kids, and sure as shit, she catches them in the middle of a firefight. You know what I mean?
hmm.
And so she's like, okay, I gotta get the fucking kids, and then finds out, the one who fucking, spoiler, it's in the trailer, got winged. Fucking, her arm is fucking destroyed because she got destroyed with a hammer. So it's like, okay. And I love that. I want to point that out. How they did the trailers throughout the game. I really liked that. I was like, okay, okay, GG.
You remember
Um,
the initial thought from that first Abby trailer that everybody's like, "Oh, that's gotta be Ellie's mom. We're gonna hear or we're gonna see some Ellie's mom's story that
I
this
thought that was
Ellie,
gonna be Ellie in a time jump. You know what I
right?"
mean? I was like, holy shit, this motherfucker gets beefy.
Jacked as shit. Crazy.
But that's my one critique with it is like, okay, I get what you guys were doing, and I'm not mad at you for doing it because it was showing, as Mel said, Abby was always a piece of shit, and it's showing like Abby actually has humanity to her. And maybe it was her dad. Maybe it was having the dream about her dad over and over and over and over again that like made her do it. Whatever. I don't know. The game really focuses a lot on psychological trauma. The game
Hmm.
focuses super heavy on psychological trauma. So again, if you didn't understand why characters are making goofy decisions with what they're faced with, you're not understanding psychological trauma. You're not understanding what these characters were going through. And if that's not your cup of tea, well, I'm sorry, you're not really going to get balls deep in this game because if you're expecting a Marvel movie, this isn't a Marvel movie. It's got
Yeah,
some
right.
ridiculous, shit in it, but it's not a Marvel movie. It's a long mature story. And I'm not saying mature for violence or any of that dumb shit. It's mature in the sense of you have to have more of than just an open mindset, almost an understanding of what's really going on in this story. And it shows a lot. Like I guarantee you right now, I guarantee you somebody was bitching about Ellie's PTSD scene at the farmhouse. I guarantee you someone was doing that. And I'm like, how can you not? How could that girl not have PTSD? Are you fucking kidding me? Like that, of
Everyone,
course she does.
everyone from the game would have some sort of minor PTSD. It's
Exactly,
a
dude.
given.
The shit they go through, and yeah, uh, we touched on it a little bit earlier. And now we've kind of gotten to the point because we've talked about the story enough. I do want to touch on Dina. Dina's character, she gets away with it, and I'll give her a pass because she's a bit of a badass. So Dina gets a pass, but the whole fucking pregnancy thing or whatever, I feel like that was almost a hindrance and it was just a plot point. It was just a tool to be used as when
It was
Abby was
just
about to
a
fucking kill her,
parallel. That's
you
all it
know,
was.
yeah, that's all it was just a plot tool because when Abby's about to fucking gut her, eye for an eye kind of style, Lev walks in. And Lev's like, no. Well, Lev was already there, but you know what I mean? Lev was like, no, don't do it. And Abby has that sudden realization of what Mel said. You're a piece of shit. Stay out of these kids' lives. You're going to just bring them down. And she's sitting there understanding that if she kills her in front of Lev, that's not setting a good example for Lev. And Lev comes from the scars. And we already know how the scars are. They're a cultist fucking thing. And I was seeing things about how, like, the religious aspect of the game was pissing people off. And it's like, how are you surprised that it took? I'm surprised it took 30 years for there to be a cult in this ungoverned fucking landscape.
I'm surprised it took two games for them to say anything about any sort of religion that
I was
arose
gonna
from
say
that.
you knew there was gonna have to be something, dude. Cults exist. Why are you guys freaking out? Like, there's real world examples of this shit. Like, what the fuck? Um, and we're arguing at an imaginary person right now. I get that because I stayed away from all the reviews. I stayed away from all the spoilers, as I've said before. And but I hear they exist. So I've not seen them, but I'm imagining what people could bitch about because I know how the internet is, and also it could be trolling. Now let's get on to the part. Also, Gator, you're not talking at all. What's up, buddy?
I'm just listening.
Well, what
If
did
you
you
look
like
at
in the early parts of the game? I'm curious about your thing because you had a unique experience as to where you didn't play. You played with Mason. You were share playing with Mason.
yeah, um, well, I don't know. What do you mean by early part? Like just the beginning of the game?
Well, kind of what we've gotten up to, like the theater, basically.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess I liked it, but there is just a lot of downtime. Not really anything happening. You just walk and climb and move around. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but yeah,
Oh, so that was one of your gripes for it.
it's
I see that.
not necessarily a gripe, but I mean, I don't
Well,
know. I just okay,
I think
continue.
it plays to the environment, though, wouldn't you say? Because it's why would these be over infested areas if there's people still there? Shit's been cleared out. Of course, things have been regulated to smaller areas, but there's a lot of barren area because how much of the population has died.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
the game did a really good job at skipping like pointless fucking scenes. You know what I mean? Like you just did this. We're not gonna make you do it again. Here's a cutscene to win your back.
One of the criticisms I've heard of is how unbelievable it kind of seems that Tommy would just give out their names to random people and follow strangers into their hideout.
I think you have to look at the situation. Blizzard, and you have an army of fucking infected. Which holy shit, that scene was insane. Like
Yeah.
I'm sitting here sneaking up on these motherfuckers, and I'm like, all right, there's 3 over there. I look over and there's another 4, and I'm like, oh my god, this is a big one. Damn, they're starting me off early. And then I turn around and there's more of them, and I'm like, and one sees me, and I'm just like, oh shit. And I just start running, and I fucking, I got ahead a little bit, and I hit my fucking, like, listen, and I turned around. Dude, it was just a white wave.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't count how many there were. There's just a white wave running at me, and I'm like, oh fuck, and I just took off running. And thank God for how many horror games I fucking played because those running part segments that you have to do, oh, your boy fucking tanked them. I was like, beep beep, get the fuck out my way.
Beep beep.
But yeah, I mean, as called
One
with
of
their
the
pants down they were. That's I will say that. But it was
one
almost
of
like,
the
oh, we need a
overall
driving point.
one of the overall gripes has been Tommy.
Tommy, I actually put a note specifically for Tommy in my notes that I wrote, and I you know
They almost made him come across as an asshole.
I like it. I like it.
Not even that, but it. You know, you think about it from the first game you heard. Okay, Tommy joined the Fireflies. Now Tommy's in Jackson. He's got his own fucking settlement. This, that, the other thing. He's made up to be, a guy that can more than handle his own.
Hmm.
The scene in which him and Joel get jumped, he gets grabbed pretty easy. Let's be real. There was enough space between him and the two that grabbed his arms, and then if he was even paying any sort of attention to anything that was going on in that room, he would have seen her motion towards the shotgun or seen some sort of shifty movement, right? Like it's almost like he lost vigilance in that instance.
Yeah, it
And
wasn't a great look for our boys.
but then he gets fucking clipped in the knee and shot in the face, which everybody's like, okay, yeah, Tommy's dead now too.
Definitely thought he
Loses
was
an
dead. It
eye,
must have just went right through the fucking cheekbone.
and yeah, I don't know. You see that he's left a little bit of damage in his wake, right? And then you see one fucking fantastic kill. Oh my god, fucking Manny.
Yeah,
Yes.
you gave that away unfortunately when I said something about Manny the other day and you're like, "Oh, Manny." I was like, "I knew he was going to die." Like, they all die. You know what I mean? Like
Well, you knew he was gonna get a good one because he's the one that spits on Joel's corpse.
yeah, he just gets Dinkelberged.
Bamboozled, my friend.
Ah, fuck that. Screw this. Let's go. I was like, "Oh
Kaplowey.
god, I'm wearing Manny now."
Bam! Right eye is just out of his fucking skull, and you're like,
And dude, did they like at first the shooter looks like Ellie, and then you get closer and it looks like Jesse, and I'm like, I don't remember Jesse being a great sniper. I didn't even think of Tommy. It didn't even connect to my brain. I was like, oh fucking yeah, he's here, duh, because I had been playing the heavy part for so fucking long.
Speaking of Jesse, they didn't give him a funeral scene. They
Oh
didn't
yeah,
honor him
that
at
is
all.
disrespectful. But there's JJ.
my man's was just a selling point in this story.
Uh,
Diversity
um,
checkbox.
And
Asian.
let's be
Boom.
fair, that was a random shot too. That wasn't even there was
yeah,
no
dude,
aim to
she
that.
just swooped the door. Just
Yep.
um. Yeah,
Strafe shot.
just to talk on the Joel and Tommy part. I mean, we like I said, we tried to keep somewhat chronological. If you guys haven't noticed, but we're not gonna do a great job at it because we're gonna remember things and we shout things out. That's how we are. But the thing with that is like, yeah, I would definitely argue like their vigilance was down, but you could also argue They were fucking panicked. You could be a cold-blooded veteran, but that many infected in a blizzard, you'd probably be a bit panicked. You'd probably like, oh shit, and then like you're offered this sanctuary. At that point, a trained soldier, I feel like would be like, okay, I keep my back to the exit. Like I'm
I
the
mean,
one sitting to the exit. You know what I
when
mean?
in the first game, when Joel and Ellie were in the car and they came across that guy that was clearly faking it, Joel was
right?
like, he's not even hurt, and then they just boom.
Super keen on it.
He's keen on that.
Yeah, they made him crotchety and old. They made him a crotchety old man, but you know, this was Ellie's story, and I liked it. I really did. As far as I will agree with you guys. I will say that you guys just gave me one gripe I have. I didn't even think of it, but yeah, no, I wish I'd have gotten like a way better fight scene. Like they break a couple of their noses, break some arms, shoot somebody, get a kill off,
Mm-hmm.
something. Just them to get completely uber stanked like that. Like, come on. Tommy
The
becoming
sad
as
thing
bitter as
is,
he did, it makes sense. I like that. I like that they made Tommy not this like he comes visit Ellie and he's just like, oh hey Ellie, how you doing? Like, oh I'm glad that you went moved on with your life, but I have a fucking bullet hole in my face and my wife left me and my brother's dead. Like it showed like oh these good characters that we thought were like moral, like idol almost characters almost, look up to
mm,
well, they can be corrupted as well because this is humanity.
it's
Again,
super sad.
mature story.
It's pretty sad.
What's that?
Ellie lost two of her fingers. She can't play guitar anymore.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? So let's hit the nail on the head part that Mason was talking about earlier. Mason, you want to hit first? Lev?
You go ahead.
I don't, I don't know if, and I'm not
The
even saying
common,
this. Oh, okay, you want to go?
one of the common criticisms of quote transgender characters in stories is that that's their entire identity. Like, oh, this person's transgender, therefore they've been through trauma, therefore that's the only thing that defines their character.
I could see
That's
that.
just an argument.
No, I could see that.
That's people think
Using
it's
it, yeah.
patronizing.
Well, it's like they did it with a little bit with Ellie's lesbianness, if that's a word.
Yeah.
In the beginning, like that one guy was a bigot. Fuck his bigot sandwiches. Um, and to be fair, the cult Lev comes from, it makes sense. Imagine how they treat that thing. As far as transgender, I mean, I'm not even trying to say this disrespectfully. Is Lev transgender or is she just
It
gender
wasn't
fluid?
it wasn't even. I mean,
It
she's
wasn't
not.
explicitly stated.
She's clearly not trans, but it's hinted at the reason that she shaved her head is because she wanted to identify as a boy. So I'd say
Yeah,
it's a gender fluid issue. But of course, then, like you were saying, you got to look at the cult and how that wouldn't be accepted and things like that. But the thing I wanted to touch on with it is the criticisms from the reviews out there, like, oh, it's trans character. Da, 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 da. It's not even fleshed out at all. You
yeah.
kind of have
It's
to put
it's
two and two together. There's literally nothing to bitch
they
about. I
start
honestly wish that you would have gotten, like, even just a little flashback cutscene, of
true.
everything that happened with Lev to give you this, realization. Oh, shit, that's a little girl. Speaking on that, when they get to California and she gets rocked and fucking thunder bites her head in a garage
Bro.
door. Anyway,
Oh
but
yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah.
if that would have been fleshed out a little bit more, then maybe, people would have had some legs to stand on for the argument. I personally feel like it definitely should have been touched on more because if you're going to bring
With all
something
the
like
fucking
that into the
cutscenes
game,
and flashbacks they gave us of that shit, like at least give
right?
us one for them.
Like explain it, like flesh it out. But I do, whenever we're ready to touch on the ending, have a bit of a theory
Um.
as to
It's a compelling theory.
Oh, I
actually
like that.
a very good one, I believe.
I have a very basic one as well. Um, as far as like yeah, the whole like Lev thing, like I thought Lev was a little boy in the darkness when they cut you down, and then instantly knew it was a girl because the voice actress.
I
It's
actually
it's very
did
simple, and
not.
I didn't even care. I was just like, oh okay.
I actually
Yeah.
didn't put two and two together that fast. Once I got that little side dialogue with God, what was her name? Yara.
Mm.
Once you get that little side dialogue where she's like, "Well, Lev," and keeps saying Lev and not a pronoun, and shaved his head, and like it was kind of like
Yeah, when Lev shaved his head and the cult came after us.
the way it was delivered, the one pronoun, his,
And
Hmm.
they threw it out there, Lily, you traitor, or Lily the apostate, or whatever. And I was like,
yeah.
Lily, okay, instantly, like duh. And it didn't even take away from the story, like we keep saying. It doesn't take away from the story at all. It's literally you get this like different twist on a Joel and Ellie story for a few hours. That's what it is. You have
Hmm.
this little killer with you that is more trained than Ellie and helps you get through levels by killing infected and shit. Now, the chances you find the fucking one working gas mask in a 5 mile radius for the little fucker. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Can I just speak on the fact that Lev helped me more than Dina ever did in any combat?
Dina got me killed so many fucking times.
Listen, I was about to get mauled by this clicker, right? Arrow straight to the fucking head. Boom! Watched it drop. I was like,
There
yes.
was one point like I literally just didn't feel like wasting ammo, so I just kept fucking like getting their attention, bringing them out in the open, and just watching Lev snipe them. I was like, all right, I don't ain't got any ammo. It's just some infected. So they were like running at me. So I just bring them out in the open and like out here.
What was one of your nicknames for Lev, Mason?
Ah, damn.
I think he was a little Shaolin kid or something.
Oh,
Tonto.
Tonto.
It was
Tonto.
Tonto.
In short round, I called him short round a little bit.
I just literally went Lev. I like the height dynamic they put in the game. That's another thing I want to touch on. The dynamics of that game. Them fights felt so good.
That last fight,
That last
I
fight was
was
really good. All the fights were really good.
screaming at my TV. Every time I landed shots, I was like, let's go, bitch. Come on.
Hmm.
Every fucking time.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
even the gunfights, the basic gunfight where you're like sitting there sneaking around and you can just like
did
move
you
around and
did you figure out that you could do aerial kills?
no, I never tried. I was just sniping
Did
with
you
an
know
arrow. I
you
was
could
wondering
shoot
about that.
clickers in the leg and stab them or kick them when they're on the ground?
Yeah, yeah, no, because I kept having this really cool thing happen where I would blow clickers in half and they would just still be alive. And I'm like, hey, you're supposed to be dead. Because dude, I was trap mine heavy my
Did you?
gameplay. I was just
Oh
like
yeah.
trap mine, walk back, and I would just like throw a bottle against the wall and just watch them all walk out. And I'm like, 3 for 1.
I always set them in gap areas that I was walking through just in case I got spotted and they
I
chased me
had
that
to
way.
brutalize so many poor puppies. Oh
I
my
don't want to
god.
talk about it. Stop. Nope. Don't
Bro,
even want. Nope.
I
Don't
literally
want to. Nope.
couldn't like
Nope.
after the first few times dogs kept discovering me, I'm like, okay,
Bow and arrow
trap
from
mine.
deep is how it kept happening. But
Trap mine. Mm-mm. I was like, I need to
Bow
kill
and
the owner
arrow.
and the dog at the same time. I can't leave one alive. Because I would kill the owner real quick, thinking the dog would just be confused. Nope, dog would come fucking track me down. I'm like, son of a bitch.
then you kill the dog. The owner's like, "Oh God, they
Yeah.
got Scooter,"
Oh,
and you're like, "Ah,
oh Mason.
fuck,
They
I
always
killed
say it by
Scooter."
name too, and you're like, God damn it, dude. Stop. I feel terrible. I realized too, like once I got back to Ellie after the Abby gameplay and shit, and you go hunt Ellie down in California or Abby down in California. I fucking realized I was like, I have explosive arrows, and I shoot the owner with the explosive arrow, and you could just hear the
Did,
dog. I was like, oh no.
did you guys did you kneecap anybody to see if it worked? Because it
Oh yeah,
does.
I blew motherfuckers' legs off.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about kneecapping them and they stay alive and they crawl.
I don't know because I was heavy on the get them killed quickly thing.
Oh, once I got to the Rattler part, I was doing a whole bunch of fucked up shit. Once I got the SMG, I was like, I already know what this is. In game, baby.
Yeah, so basically, I didn't know how long that was gonna go on, so I kind of like tried to be playful at first, and then I kept failing because there were so many motherfuckers in that mansion that would just keep showing up, and I couldn't sense them at first. I was like, okay,
Hey,
fuck this. I just went loud with explosives, just firing them off real quick. I stealth killed like 4 people to get them out of the fucking range. Then I just started unleashing the infected. The clickers did their job. The fucking infected tracked me and targeted me and only chased me. I was like, motherfucker. I'm
hey,
running by enemies like, sup, bro? And I'm hearing the infected behind me. And I'm like, he's going to get him. I turn around and it's still on me. I'm like, what the fuck?
can we talk about the Resident Evil boss fight in the hospital basement?
Dude, that shit was dope AF.
Oh god.
When I seen, like, when you're by the door and you hear the gurgle, and then you go turn the generator on and you come back, and there's just this open wound in the wall, you're like, something gross came out of there. Something really nasty came out of that fucking thing just now. And I'm thinking a slug monster. I'm like, I'm gonna have to deal with some like tentacle fucking thing, aren't I? God damn it, dude. And when you get you get your shit, you're in the ambulance, and you just start hearing it, dude. I paused the game, took a fucking fat rip of a joint, drank some fucking whiskey, and I was like, all right, let's see this ugly motherfucker. And I hit it, and it's like she slowly puts the flashlight on. I'm like, oh god, oh that's terrifying.
Ask
Um,
Gator about my sheer panic through all of that.
my
Oh yeah,
fight
it
was,
was.
I was pissed.
If it gets a hold
I'm
of you,
just
it
glad I
tears
had
you in
so much
half.
shotgun ammo.
So
If it gets a hold of you, it tears you in half.
yeah, no, so here's what kept happening. Like he kept cornering me in a hallway and backslapping me, and the backslap would catch me and it would just break my neck every fucking time. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna keep you in open areas. Kept him in open areas. Went to run through a door. Did the whole animation of scooting through one of the broken doors. Motherfucker grabbed me, pulled me out of the door, and ripped me in half. I'm like, go fuck yourself. So I literally ran around the second time, just placed a fuck ton of mines, brought him at me, and he exploded like 40 times, and I just lit him up. I put every bullet I had in this motherfucker. I was like, you are dying here.
My
Then that one that
granddaddy
like
is.
branches off is just a fucking nightmare because it just eats ammo all day.
Hmm.
Oh, but that was a fun ass boss fight. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I really appreciated the new enemies, except the stalkers. The stalkers were fucking annoying as hell. I guess that's their purpose. But fuck, are they annoying? Because they don't really show up on your listening unless they like start clicking, and then they just, I don't know. They're like hard to fucking see half the time. You're like, what the hell? The wall enemies were a nightmare.
Hmm.
They'd always jump out of me in the dark, and I'm like, stop it.
Mason in a few of those encounters.
Listen, I had a certain encounter. Where was this at, Gator?
This is when you were in the skyscraper with Lev, I think.
Yeah, it was we were trying to escape the scars and Lev and Yara kinda leave you. You know, they hop through that fucking window and shit.
Mm.
And I'm low on ammo. There's stalkers, 2 bloaters, a couple clickers, and some just regular infected.
Uh-huh.
Dude, 6, 7, 8 tries go by, and I'm like, God, fuck. I'm starting to run this like old school God zombie circle, and
Yep.
I, I finally get it down to where like I'm getting these materials. I remembering where everything's at, the ammo, the materials. I craft the trap bombs, and I place them in certain spots, and then I in like the last time, like when I finally got it, the RNG gods blessed me. I remember getting just enough to make one Molotov. I throw this fucking Molotov, this fucking bloater, poof, and start sprinting towards the ambulance because I saw the window pop.
Wait, are you talking
Cutscene
about with
starts.
Abby?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Abby's got pipe bombs, homie.
yeah, you know what I meant.
I was confused. I'm like, wait, you got fucking. What fucking game did you get? I was pissed. I was like, God damn it, I got pipe bombs. But yeah, you could dink them with it, and it stuns them. Fucking hell. Um, I like the fight between Ellie and Abby, like the theater fight, because it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. If Abby got her hands on Ellie, what the fuck did you think was gonna happen?
Mason ran headfirst into Ellie several times and just got fucked up.
Oh my fucking god, that little shit is on some fucking nightmare fuel. And here's the thing, I have a sneaking suspicion that that is your game's Ellie. So the upgrades that you've given Ellie throughout the game upgrade that enemy. I'm not sure and I can't prove it, but I have a sneaking suspicion because her landmines did so much fucking damage from such a far range. I shot one from across half the room and it blew my legs off. Like I was 20 feet away from this thing and it blew me in half. I was like, what the fuck?
It, it might have also just been scaled damage, but
Maybe
yeah, like
that,
Gator was
yeah.
saying, I ran straight at her a couple times. I'm like, I'm this big beefy ox bitch. Yeah, I'm fucking going.
That's what I mean. Like, you
She
start to get an
sucker snaggled.
appreciation for Abby once you start playing her. You're like, oh, I'm just gonna tank motherfuckers. Like, come here.
No, my whole fucking drive to get through her parts was simply get through her parts
Yeah.
I was like, damn, is
as
this bitch gonna kill
quickly as
fucking
possible.
Ellie? Is this where, like, is this why I'm gonna hate the ending?
It even got to a point where I hated the amount of time that I spent killing Abby just because it took away from the amount of time it would have taken, to get through everything.
I liked the dual story mode. I guess I should say. I can't disrespect Joel like that. So I can't say I really like Abby, but I like the dual story. The dual
Oh
story
yeah,
was nice.
the flip
The
perspective and
scars
shit.
are a good addition enemy too because it's like, oh yeah, these savage fuckers.
You hear those whistles and you start panicking.
And you're like, up,
Fuck.
up, up. What the fuck? A lot of good fights. Even though the fight is repetitive, the creativity you're allowed to do makes it not repetitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can
there's
kill them in
plenty of
such
ways to get
various
rid of your
ways that
enemy.
it's like, oh yeah, this isn't
I
boring.
actually had a lot of fun upgrading the various melee weapons and seeing.
Can we talk about the upgrading weapons animation?
Yes.
That shit is nice.
Have
That's
you guys seen
nice.
the cover videos on Ellie's guitar? They play
No.
like all sorts of shit. Nothing Else Matters by Metallica.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
people were
those.
actually like playing it on their controller.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yo, the fucking GG to them. Yeah, the music in the game is so good. Oh, such good music. I loved it. Oh, I love that whole game.
Star
I
Wars
will
Santa.
say
Yeah, yeah.
my problem I was having bug problems where I couldn't pick shit up for like 5 minutes. Like it was just not letting me pick it up. I'm like, okay.
I didn't have a single real bug issue.
I couldn't get doors open sometimes. Like the door would just like I would have lag issues almost. 5 minutes is an exaggeration. It didn't take 5 minutes. It was like I don't know, 15, 20 seconds. But it was long enough for you to go like, okay, what the fuck? And
Yeah.
then it would just load up immediately, and I'm like, all right, just whatever. And then I had one happen, and then I put this in my notes. This is the infamous fucking like just my one okay, go fuck yourself moment in this game. I got Ellie on the ground. I got her on the final beatdown. She's donezo. I'm in the theater. I'm doing the Omega Bot Bop where like you just start rocking Ellie in the face and she's just laying there like, oh yeah.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I fucking as I roll her over and I start punching her, in the cutscene, a mine explodes me and I die. One of the mines she placed during our fight.
Oof.
I was like, what? And the game just stopped for a second and I'm like, wait, what? I was like,
That was the secret
hold
ending.
on, what?
That
Yeah,
was the
I'm
secret
in a
ending.
I
cutscene
was
and
gonna
a
say you found
mine
the
placed
secret ending, bud.
a mine placed in the fight just blows Abby to shit. Like, I was like, wait a minute. Hold on.
So, are we ready to speak on the ending here? Because
Um,
we're about there. Or unless
did
you want to
we
speak on the Rattlers first.
um Ellie's fucking little thing. I wish she would have got a whole like when he was like, "Oh, you're bit," and she's just before she shot him like, "Oh, I'm immortal," or "I'm immune." You know what I mean? Not immortal.
I loved how you got a little bit of classic Ellie right there.
She's like, point on this fucking map. Oh my
Oh, when she's like sitting there mocking him while she's on the ground. You're a little bitch. It reminded me of young Ellie.
Yeah, but she also killed the guy that kind of tried to help for no reason.
No, we
Oh,
learned our
you mean
lesson from
fucking
this.
Sons of Anarchy? Fuck
Yeah.
that guy. Look what he does to
Well,
people.
that was Paul Senior from West Coast Choppers.
No, fuck that guy. So, yeah, that the whole like just I don't know, the story of the game was just really fucking good and I like it. So the ending. Let's get to the
she,
ending.
she breaks the cycle.
It was gnarly. It was gnarly as fuck like you
One of
walking
the
through the pikes it was like, oh shit. And then you see that
Yeah,
one body that looks like Abby, and it's not Abby.
Yeah, I was like, oh, there's that bitch. I was like, oh, she's dead. And Gator's like, no, that's not her. And I walked up to it farther. I was hit triangle. I was like, oh, it's not. I walked past the
Fucking
bitch.
mother from Judge Dredd. Or Mama.
Then the whole time you're following her to the boats, I keep trying to fucking pull my pistol and just shoot her in the back of the head right
I
there.
was literally like, yeah, the whole time you're just walking her to the boats, and then like you're getting your own boat. I'm like, Ellie, what are we doing? Ellie, what's going on? And Ellie just stops, and she's like, I can't let you leave. And just that whole exchange was so good, and Ellie just finally getting it, and that quick little flash to Joel, and she stops and lets her go, and you see her ride off, and I was like, okay, well maybe she remembered Joel and was like, maybe he wouldn't want this. You know what I mean? Da 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 da. And then you see the cutscene that that flash was from, and you're like, oh, okay, all
It gives
right.
you the rest of the context you needed to the decision.
Yeah, I don't think I can ever forgive you, but I'd like to try. And then you understand, and Ellie says it in the theater. She understands why she killed Joel. And she had her, but she's like, look, this isn't going to fix anything. It's not going to bring him back. And then that song that keeps playing through the whole game, if I lost you, I'd surely lose a part of myself. It all just,
Future Days by Pearl Jam, but
yeah. So it just keeps fucking coming back to certain things that happened way earlier in the story. Like, if you paid attention to the certain things in the early story, it just keeps reoccurring and reminding you, like, this is what the path was going to go to the whole time. And then the very end is sad as fuck. I was like, aw, Ellie,
I knew that
damn.
was I knew that's what she was gonna come back to. But
I thought she was gonna
let's
come
talk
back to like Overrun, like the infected that killed him or something. I was like, is this gonna give me a gnarly ending?
let's talk about the very last scene. How symbolic it is. Everything that she collected in her time with Joel, she left behind, right? She just left it. We don't know if she's coming back for it, but it's symbolic in the fact that she picked up her bag, which idealistically is probably important. That's how you carry your belongings.
Mm.
But left everything else, especially the guitar, right?
She's moved on.
Exactly. That part of her life is past her. It's gone. It's behind her now. And that's the perfect send off to that character. Now, do you want me to segue into my theory, or do you want to go with yours first?
I'd like to hear yours.
Okay, so like I said,
tell it.
you're not gonna see Ellie in the next game if there's a next game, but you're also not gonna see Abby. We know that the virus is transmitted via blood,
Yeah.
saliva, scratches. Ellie got a fresh bite maybe 30 minutes to an hour before she got her fingers bit off.
Oh yeah.
There's no way Abby didn't ingest some of that infected blood.
You're gonna laugh your ass
She's
off.
she's infected on the open water, brother.
Literally, my last note is P.S. Is the Abby now infected after biting Ellie's fingers off? That's literally my last note because I was sitting there thinking, I was like, oh yeah. Wait a
I
minute, this bitch
honestly
just bit her
think
fingers off.
there's not gonna be a Last of Us 3. I think that's it.
No, and I'm cool with that. I like that. I like
I
it because
I was okay with the first being the send off, but now that I've actually had time to sit here and digest the ending, I am now even more okay with this being the send off. It would cement The Last of Us as a series as one of the fucking goats.
in all of video game history, and honestly,
Exactly.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 10 out
11.
of 10. It's earned it. It's literally earned it because again, the only problems I had were like probably my PlayStation performance problems. I didn't have any problems with the story. The story made sense. There was a couple minute shit that I don't care about, but that'll happen in anything I like because it's
Before you go
called
on with your
filler.
theory, give me 2 seconds.
No, my that we share the same one. Boo doo boo boo. So D,
Yes,
how'd you feel about the ending?
I think it was good. It made perfect sense. I appreciate the breaking the cycle message because really
Mm-hmm.
that's the only way that it could have gone. Otherwise, it just would have been like, I don't want to say pretentious, but like up its own ass kind of thing. Like if they went super edgy with it, then it would have been like, yeah, this is silly. But no, it didn't do that. So
Hmm. I like it. I like
All
that
right, let's
idea.
hear it.
No, we had the same one. Funny enough. I was thinking like Abby was infected. I will say on the differing opinion, but I appreciate yours, and I'm not opposed to yours with her leaving everything behind. I looked at it as like she was gonna go like hunt down Dina. She's become like the world's best tracker at this fucking point. Maybe she
Pretty
wanted it
much.
back. Maybe because what I seen was when she's pissed off at Joel and she said, "God damn it, I wanted my life to have purpose." And Joel's like, "I would do it again, given the chance." And like it kind of reiterates that your life's purpose is what you make of it. And she had a
Hmm.
life. So I felt like she was gonna go back and
Well,
find
see,
Dina.
the reason I saw it as her leaving everything
No, I
behind
agree with what
was
you're
that
saying.
no. Well, I didn't dive into the whole that night before Ellie left the conversation with Dina. I mean, she gave her the ultimatums like, if you go, I'm basically she. I mean, she didn't put it in black and white like saying I'm not going to be here. But Ellie also knew what she'd be giving up to try to go finish this, and that was where the parallel came in again in that California segment. Was was it was it worth everything that she gave up and everything she lost and will continue to lose if she kills this one person? Like, is it
Yeah, because then Lev's just gonna come for her.
exactly? And I think she saw, like, in the moment, she saw that as the best decision.
No,
Like,
you're
no,
winning me over with
the less
yours. I
attachment,
like yours a
the
lot
less
better.
attachment you have with me, the better. I'm gonna go finish this, like I fucking promised. And then she gets there and she gets to these realizations, like, I mean, I just lost my family. None of this is gonna bring Joel back. I just had my fingers bitten off. I got fucking stabbed by a tree.
Let's talk about that trap real quick. Damn, son. Good
Do you think that
engineering.
was intentionally set for her to swing to that spike,
I think it's
or
sharpened in case. And she just so happened to get
I
fucking pokey
thought
poked.
maybe it was just dead broken branch.
It looks way too sharp because a dead broken branch would poke you, but like that hard?
Sure, I can tell you, they can stab still.
I know, but I don't know. It's a little weird. It looked sharpened. It happens quick, but I don't know. We'll have to like look at it in like a slower frame. But yeah. Overall, it was a good story, and I like your theory with her whole like she's just moving on with her life kind of thing. Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. I looked at it as like she had this whole life with Dina thing, and like when they play the flashback and shit like that, it kind of makes sense. But then again, The Last of Us has been kind of a sadder story, and Ellie is Ellie. So I don't know. And I like that they leave it open ended. I like that we don't get definitive answers because it makes it for what we're doing now. We're sitting here, coming up with theories.
Yeah, it. They left it very up. They're very much up to the interpretation of the player
Mm-hmm.
on what the
yeah,
player thinks
that's
happened. And I think that's where a lot of people are getting all shitty. It's because, oh, well, fucking Ellie didn't kill Abby. There's nothing definitive. Da 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 da. But
Well,
Naughty Dog's never given you definitive. I
yeah.
mean, look at your
Also,
Uncharted series. Look at the first to last, like, yeah, part one. Yeah, like, there's never anything very definitive with what they do because they want to leave it open to you as the player on how you played it. They want to immerse you in that world, like put your mind in that situation and what's happened. You know.
no, exactly. And the thing about the whole just game overall is it's just such an experience. I don't know how else to describe it. It's wild. It's like what you thought it was gonna be, but not. You know what I mean?
I'm excited to play it again. To be honest with you.
Exactly. Like that thing has a fun amount of replay value in my mind. Absolutely.
Um.
the gameplay is definitely like the best part.
Oh,
Yeah.
Close,
absolutely.
close to the best part.
One downside, and the one reason I loved California so much was no fucking rain. You are wet 90% of that game.
Yeah, somebody's got trench foot.
Yeah, but it made sense.
Wonder if in a New Game Plus they'll bring that full auto SMG
Oh,
back.
please don't let me have that in Seattle.
Oh, dude, you get that against the boss fight?
Oh, dude, I'm shredding. But
Brrrr.
here, here's a fun fact for anybody that's messed with the character viewer. I think Gator was on SharePlay when I messed with it. Jesse's horse's name. Anybody want to take a stab? Gator, I know you already know it.
Mm,
Um, Hiroshi.
You're very close, sir. It's Japan. His
That's what
horse's
it
name is
is.
Japan.
Yeah, no, they say that at one point. I remember that. I remember there's actually yeah, there's a horse called Japan. What is Ellie's Sprinkle? Sparkle?
Um,
Sparkle gets fucking boom boom.
Shimmer.
Shimmer. Shimmer gets
Joel.
boom boom, dog.
Her horse is named Joel.
But yeah, overall, just such a good fucking game. I can't say it enough. I really can't. Like, goddamn. The weird love triangle with Abby and Owen and Mel and all that shit, though. I mean, again, that's that filler shit that like gives these characters conflict before the actual conflict. Um,
Take it or leave it.
yeah.
Did we need a sex scene with Abby in it?
Uh,
Did we need that?
Yes.
I can't believe I glanced over that.
You needed to watch her get fucking little bit of.
That was Naughty Dog telling everybody, yeah, okay, yeah, she looks like a dude. Definite chick.
Yeah, like listen, he slipped it in her.
Or, Owen's gay.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with that.
We here.
But I was that's why I was throwing out the possibility.
True.
Dead maybe.
I feel like Abby just got jacked as fuck. Did you see that gym
was
they
a
had on
gym.
fucking site?
Yeah, I was gonna say there was a gym in there.
Bro, shout out to Yara for just being a G ass motherfucker. Literally was dying, was just like, hey Isaac, what? And they light her up. I was like, oh god.
Yeah, she got the whole firing squad.
A brutal game. Real brutal. I appreciated it for its brutality.
Get to see Happy Gilmore, a firing squad. You get to see a great show. One a hell of a shot.
Fucking jaw rip. I
There's a little
baptized
Street
somebody.
Fighter action in there.
Yo, real quick.
Torn in half a few times.
Dude, let me send this in the fucking
Jaw ripped open.
chat real quick before I forget. I
Last of Us has
baptized a
always
motherfucker.
been diving into the gore. Almost like somebody has a fetish for it. Neil Druckmann, I'm looking at you.
Slim, did you ever jump into water that was a little too shallow and break your neck, $1 Million Baby yourself?
With Abby?
With either or, I did it with both by accident, both times. It was great.
No,
Just
so
brain yourself on a rock.
So the only time I killed Ellie was I ran through a trap mine. I forgot.
never intentionally killed
I thought
Ellie.
yeah, that's what I was saying. I thought I cleared it already, but I cleared the one behind it, and I was just fucking sprinting, and all I was like, here's, and it was loud as fucking scary. But the fucking what was it? And I got killed by one of the big heavies with a hammer.
Yeah,
The
those were
Omega
rough.
bot me on the ground. Other than that, Ellie
those
didn't
were
die.
rough
Oh no, and then I
until-
got bit once by a clicker. But other than that, Ellie didn't die. Every time with Abby, dude, I was, when the waters is like real rough and you're running through the buildings to get to the bridge, I kept just yeeting that bitch in the running water, and it's just like she screams and you hear her head just clunk a rock. Also, I sent something in the group. Check that shit out. I baptized a motherfucker.
Mason, remember the couple ammo machine?
Dude, that pistol is ridiculous.
What did I call it? What was I calling it?
I called it the GTA.
Is the Glau Glau cannon, but
The Glock Glock.
Dude, that thing's the GTA marksman pistol. Straight up, it's just. I fucking killed that boss thing in the hospital with it.
I killed plenty of shit with the Glau Glau
I
cannon,
literally
but
was just like bang,
Yeah,
bang.
Mason. When Mason was on a boat or something, he shot like 12 zombies in the head with it. Just pow, pow.
Yeah, it was
uh,
nice remembering that like bullets can
that
go through.
weapon was one of the greatest.
Dude,
Damn,
shout
you
out
did
to the Glau
baptize him,
Glau
huh?
cannon. Hell yeah. I laughed my ass off when I walked to his body. I'm like, oh fuck. Dude, George
The
Masvidal would be
Glau Glau
proud.
cannon's the goat. Yeah,
I
Street Jesus would be very proud of you, bud.
I did that with the bow.
Oh yeah, the bow gives you good ragdoll physics when they
I
fall.
bowed that man in the neck. That's why his face is untouched.
Yes, sir.
One of the good touches I loved that they put in audio wise is like whenever you didn't get a good clean kill shot, they still screamed and like
Dude, through the neck they gurgle.
yeah, I know, and it made you like ugh. And
Dude,
what about shout out to the chick that was playing the PSP that decided to get kind of frisky and then got stabbed in the throat.
oh, shout out to that she's playing Hotline Miami. I literally was looking at it and I'm like, I know that game. It's Hotline Miami. Unfortunately, we can't use their music because they'll copyright us. But
Shout out to that one death animation where Abby gets shot straight in the face with a shotgun.
I didn't get that one. But shout out to the death animation of fucking just Abby just getting yeeted. Her neck getting broken is. Did you guys get the neck broken with the boss?
Yes.
I was about to say
You
it
got
just
hit with a
turns you
big fucking-
sideways.
You got ripped in half.
Yeah,
Got a pickaxe to the face a few times.
I didn't die that much like that. I got shot a few times like by a sniper, and she just drops. Yeah,
Yeah, Tommy.
I won most of my fucking fist fights. Like literally, I think, other than the Omega Bot Hammers. Those
Yeah,
are the only fuckers because they block you so well and they throw you when they block you and it's like, oh god. Oh no.
I threw Abby off this boat or something that was being constructed like 6 times, and after the third time, Gator was like, "All right, I think that's good." And I just kept going up.
No, it's never good enough. Joel's got shooters out here. Dog, we keep saying it, but it's true.
Jill's got hipped everywhere, bro.
Fucking, I appreciate
I
the
don't sound like
cornfield
that guy.
scene. That was fun.
Yeah.
Going through the cornfield and just murking motherfuckers. But yeah, again, overall, just such a good game. I have so many good screenshots from the game, and I can't wait to play my new game plus. Dude, fucking, thank you, Naughty Dog. That's so good. And
Their Druckmann's done it again.
I'm just, my heart is warm with it. Anyone got any closing statements for this?
I have no closing statements.
That scene where Ellie was telling Dina that she had to do this, it reminded me of Uncharted 4, because there was a scene almost exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Drake had a...
That's your closing statement. Fair enough.
It's like, no, I have to do this. It
Dude,
has to be
shout
done.
out to Ellie 420 blazing it. Reefer Madness.
Yeah.
Dude, Reefer fucking Madness. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us for this Last of Us Part 2 spoiler cast. If you liked it, be sure to let us know.
In
Pray
the
for
comment
Jesse.
section below. Pray for Jesse.
Jesse DLC when? Robin Hood and Little John running through the forest, hopping fences, dodging trees, and trying to get away. Oh, delilah,